Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about online safety advice for parents. In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of online safety, and I'm going to share with you 9 principles for online safety that are self-government principles that will transform online usage at your house. Every parent is worried about if their child is going to be the next one that is addicted to their screen, their tablet, their phone, their computer monitor, and so they're starting to wonder if they should take steps. In fact, we live in a day and age where there has been screen experimentation on children to the level that we absolutely know that there are harms out there that are imminently affecting our children if we don't do something about it. In fact, in schools around the world, where first we were putting tech into the classrooms, now there is a massive movement to remove tech from the classrooms. In the state where I live, we have removed all cell phones from the school day and the classroom. We've also made it so that younger children now are not going to be on Chromebooks in the classroom. Instead, we're reserving that Chromebook usage for older children, and until they're in high school, they're not going to be just taking that high school issued Chromebook home. This is because the addiction levels are high. This is also because they are not able to self-govern themselves on the devices. They're not being properly taught that. The parents aren't sure how to rule over a school-issued device, and there are harms on those devices that are known. So what are we doing in our state? We are taking a deliberate approach, a proactive approach to governing those devices. So why wouldn't we do the same thing in our own homes if even the schools are starting to take action, if even the legislatures are starting to take action? We absolutely must take action ourselves if we haven't done so already. And even if you've already taken action for good online safety, this video and the 9 principles that I'm going to share next are going to give you some guidelines that you can follow throughout the entire time that you are doing your child raising and you've got to deal with technology. Principle number 1, do not just hand over technology until you hand over skills. Don't just hand somebody a device and assume that they are going to be able to handle that thing. So here's the thing, self-government is all about being in control of yourself, managing yourself, governing yourself, planning ahead of time what outcomes you want, and not allowing somebody else to get in the way of those outcomes. Well, if you don't know how to govern yourself, then that device that you're holding in your hand, that phone, that tablet, will absolutely control you. So who do you want to be in control, your child or the device? I think everybody would say the child, but then we have to ask ourselves, is our child really in full control of themselves? Do they always wake up on time? Do they do their personal hygiene perfectly? Do they do their homework when they should? Do they do all of those things that are hallmarks of a person who's completely self-governed? The answer is probably no. So that means that our big emphasis needs to be on skill development, particularly skill development that revolves around self-government. Because if we can teach them to govern themselves when it comes to cleaning the room and saying kind words to other people, then we can also teach them self-government on the device, which is exponentially more difficult. There are multiple skills that are going to be very beneficial for you in teaching your child how to govern themselves in preparation for governing a device. 2 of those very important skills are part of our 4 basic skills. They are the skills following instructions and accepting no answers. There are steps to each one of these skills. I'm not going to go into that here because we've got more to cover. But each of those skills, a person should be able to self-evaluate. They should be able to stop themselves. So accepting no answer is all about telling yourself stop and how to follow through, how to drop the subject on a craving, all those types of things. And then following instructions. Once they've stopped themselves, they've evaluated whether they should do something, giving themselves a no answer on the device, the technology, the page, the click, the whatever it is, then they need to instruct themselves about what to do. Also, especially if they see something bad on there, they need to know no answer and what do I do next. So each of those skills, learning those steps to those skills, can be very beneficial. Those are contained in other places on this channel, as well as on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, where I teach all about the 4 basic skills of self-government and how you can teach them in your home. Principle number 2, pre-teach everything. Don't assume that they know better. Just because you have morals in your family and stuff like that does not mean that when they are on that device that they are going to remember exactly what to do when they are confronted with certain things. So you need to pre-teach them ahead of time. A really big component and principle of learning self-government is pre-teaching. A person should be prepared ahead of time to succeed before they ever get to the moment where they're going to need the skills. So pre-teach about the no answers that they need to give themselves and the instructions that they're going to need to remember to give themselves also in any circumstance, and teach them ahead of time. Principle number 3, keep the leadership in your family. Don't outsource your parenting to screens. I know it's tempting. The children are getting a little active, you need a little peace and quiet, or maybe you even need a little nap. And you just need them to do something like just watch a screen for a minute. Mom is not having a lot of sleep lately and I need a rest. Or maybe you need to get something done, or you're on the phone. Putting them in front of a screen is not the solution. You've got to have more self-restraint than that, more self-government, because if you are giving them the screen as the babysitter, then you are walking away. And especially when they're young, you need to be there all the time when they're on those screens so you can make sure that they are not getting exploited by any of these so-called children's programs, because some of them do exploit children. Some of them give your children a paradigm, a lens on life you would not want them to have. Sometimes they even teach attitude problem, which now you're going to have to deal with later. So watch for that. That scripting of the child can happen through the television. Keep the leadership, be there so you can have the discussions and turn it off when needed. Principle number 4, create a family tech culture, not just rules around tech. So make sure that your children understand your family behaves and interacts with technology in a certain way, in a pre-planned way, in a self-governed way. So our family absolutely did that. Every child was not having a phone in their pocket every second of the day when I was raising my older children, but everyone was plugged into TV and screens all the time, computer games. And so I decided to create a certain culture in my family about that. So one cultural aspect that I brought in was there would be a certain time that we would watch screens and when we wouldn't watch screens. And there would be a way that we would do that. So every Friday night was our family movie night. We didn't actually watch network television, hardly at all, maybe like during the Olympics, a couple of key events, you know. But other than that, we always just had our movie night. That was our culture as a family. And so we made sure that on other days of the week when they would ask, even if I could use a break at the time from my parenting, the answer would be no, because it's not Friday night. It's not our family movie night. Also, when it came to computer games, I made sure that they knew that they only could have like 30 minutes a week. And that if they were watching somebody else play computer games at that time, that counted for that 30 minutes of the week. And this is because our culture in our family was we were going to go outside and play, we were going to do other things, we were going to call friends over, and when we were at friends' houses, we weren't going to go over there just to watch screens and play computer games either. So they knew that they needed to contact me. I even let their friends' parents know that if my child was going to watch something at their house, that they had to call me first and ask permission. And occasionally I would say yes, but usually the answer was no, because I told my friends' parents, you know, we don't watch a lot of technology at our house. I don't want my child using your child and that friendship just to come watch technology. So let's make sure they do some other things. And those parents were like, yeah, that's a good point. I don't want my child to be used, you know, by your child. And plus, why don't they do other things. It just kind of opened that conversation. And those parents were actually very supportive for the most part. If a parent ever wasn't that supportive, then I would know that my child wasn't going to be going over there to play. Instead, we would have all the playtime and the fun happening at our house. That does mean that culturally you got to be engaged with your children, do cool things, let them blow stuff up and ride their bikes in cool ways, all of those things that maybe you don't usually get involved in. Make life adventurous. That's what I did. That's a better culture than making life about technology all the time. They're going to get plenty of that. You don't have to show them an AI very often for them to know what to do and how to use it. Number 5. Teach internal filters, not just external filters. Of course, we're going to put filters on our computers and stuff like that, but we need to teach our children discernment. We need to teach them how to internally filter what they're seeing. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it true? Is it false? If I don't know, who do I ask? If it feels wrong, how do I handle it? We need to teach them how to morally assess what they are seeing. Don't teach them to just accept everything on Google, everything on Chat or Gemini or wherever you're getting your information or YouTube. Don't just accept it all as true. It's not. And I say that as a YouTuber and a podcaster and a writer. It's not all true. People say stuff, they just do stuff. So the most important thing that you can teach your child is how to discern on the inside. Boy, I could go into that one for a good hour. But if you know how to personally discern, start to teach that to your children as well. Principle number 6. Practice scripts for dangerous situations. What are the dangerous situations that they might encounter online? I think sexual things is probably the first thing that jumps into people's minds, right? Something that you might see that you don't want your child to see. At least I hope that we still care as parents about if our children are exploited sexually online, because if they get it into their head, they didn't even have to do it with their body. Now suddenly they've been exploited by somebody sexually. So I hope we're still, sensitive to that. Sometimes I talk to parents and I'm like, okay, so you don't care about sexual content. All right. That scares me because then anything could happen to a child. So that brings me to another thing that would be considered a dangerous circumstance. So there's people who want to traffic children, who want to take pictures of children and exploit them, who want to meet up with them and do things to them. They find them through chat rooms and gaming and social media and all these different places where kids hang out. They find them there. So you need to teach them some sort of a script on the inside for what they can do. A person is talking to me that I have never met face to face. That's a no answer for me. So do they already know how to accept no answers? Remember, that's one of our 4 basic skills of self-government. Do they know how to do that? To accept a no answer, you look at the person or the situation, you keep a calm face, voice, and body. You say, okay, that's a no answer, or you tell yourself no, and you accept it. And then you say okay to that, you drop the subject. You don't think about it anymore. And in this case, maybe the script is that you say to yourself, do I know that person? Have I ever actually physically met them before? Do my parents know them? Okay, then that's a no answer. And I'm going to go tell my parent that this person is trying to contact me. Tell them exactly what to do, the script, the dialogue to go through in their mind. When they see a bad picture or something like that, or something that they know is maybe a highly charged political thing that they're not sure if it's true, they should ask themselves the question, is this true? Who do I know that can help me know if this is true? Oh, my parent. So I can go and ask them. So that's going to be part of that internal script. Principle number 7, keep communication open and don't overreact about things. Don't overreact. The communication needs to be calm. It needs to be understandable. It needs to be reasonable. You need to recognize accidents can happen. They can be exploited. Just help them. Keep them safe. Let them know you're there for them. You don't judge them. You're going to help them through this. If they have an addiction, you're going to help them through this. You're not going to take it personally. And you are going to talk with them regularly about this issue too. Principle number 8, watch for emotional attachment to screens. If your child gets angry at you because they can't have a screen, they've got an emotional attachment. If your child has a meltdown, depression, if they start saying their life is worthless without a screen, nobody will like them without a screen, they are emotionally dependent on that screen. That's how you know that they have an unhealthy attachment, possibly an addiction. They need your help. You've got to step in and give them the no answers. You've got to replace that addiction with something else. So that means that you've got to replace it with what? With you. Get in there, get involved, do things with them that help them learn things, have new experiences, and set those devices aside and let them know that it's going to be okay, that the whole family's setting the device aside, that you're not going to be using your device except for during business hours and for business or whatever. You're not going to be on it all the time either, that the family needs to detox from this because we're getting too attached. Let them know the symptoms of attachment so that they can recognize when they've got an addiction problem too. We don't tell our children that. That's ridiculous. They need to know this in this world. Otherwise, they're going to grow up to be adults who can't stop looking at it and can't form attachments with real people. Principle number 9, use correction when needed and make sure that you keep it calm. On this channel, I teach all about self-government, but I have things that can help you more than what's here on the channel. On my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, I've got courses on there that you can take that will help you. There's actually a whole course that you should probably go and take right now. And that course is called Parenting in a Tech Sexual World, so that they become enslaved to those devices. But when you need to correct them, you need the words to say so that you're not out of control, so that you're not taking things personally and being emotional. As well as those courses, especially my online course, you also can find books on my website, books about calmness, like The Power of Calm, which is my new book right now. I'm so excited about it. It's just selling like hotcakes because people know that they need those skills of calmness for themselves and for their children. And this book here, Parenting a House United, is going to go into a skill set that you can use. It's also taught in my TSG parenting course, and that skill set is going to help you in the moment do a correction that's calm, connective, but firm, and lets your child know you are going to help keep them safe from these dangers of technology. You're going to help them learn responsibility so that they can monitor themselves, because it's all about learning self-government after all. So go to teachingselfgovernment.com today. I'll see you there.